Most people think going to Europe is only affordable if you're super rich or if you slum it through the gutters. That lie is why most people either overspend or never go to Europe at all. Today I'll show you exactly what a first-time trip to Europe will cost you in 2026. If you're planning your first trip to Europe, you don't have unlimited money, and you're scared that when you arrive in Europe, you're not going to be able to afford it, this video is for you. I'm Craig, and I help first-time travelers explore Europe affordably and with confidence. Every Europe trip budget breaks down into 5 basic cost categories or buckets. Your flight to and from Europe, where you sleep, what you eat, how you get around, and sightseeing and experiences. That's it. On my first trip to Europe, my friends and I went together with the same budget, about $3,500. They were in Europe for 2 weeks. I was there for 3 months. But I prioritized what I spent my money on every single day. While I watched my friends make different decisions on things like eating and sightseeing and impulse spending. In general, I watched my friends spend their money much more freely than I did. They knew they were going home in 2 weeks, where I had to make sure I had enough money to get me through an entire summer. When they finally left, they had very little, if any, money left in their pockets. I waved goodbye and continued on for another 2.5 months with much of my original $3,500 still available in my budget. And when I finally flew home, I realized many of my most memorable experiences had cost me nothing on that trip. Depending on your travel style and overall spending habits, you'll fall into one of 3 budget tiers: backpacker, frugal comfort, or minimalist splurge. These tiers show what you can realistically expect to spend for 15 days on a trip to Europe in the summer of 2026. Each tier's total includes flights to and from Europe and a 15-day Euro pass, but the per day total has the flights taken out of that figure. The costs in each expense bucket are averages for that day. Your flight to Europe will typically be the single largest expense of your entire trip. If you control this one cost up front before you leave for your trip, you have that much more money in your budget to spend while you're in Europe. Round-trip airfare from the US to Europe during peak season of 2026 will cost you between $700 and $1,300 US. So as a backpacker, you can expect to spend about $3,318. Can it be done on less? Sure, I've done it on much less than that for a longer period of time. But that's the average of what you'll be spending in this tier. Traveling as a budget-conscious backpacker includes the following costs. So for sleeping, you'll spend about $50 per night in a hostel for a bunk bed in a large dorm. For eating, you'll probably get a free breakfast at your hostel, or you'll stop at a grocery store or a local market or bakery to get something like a pastry and maybe a coffee for your breakfast, and maybe eat at a casual cafe once or twice a week while cooking most of your meals at a hostel kitchen the rest of the time. And you'll spend about $40 per day on food. For transportation, you'll have your 15-day rail pass, which will cost you $319 or about $21 a day, and will probably walk most of the time in Europe's cities and towns. You'll take the occasional bus or metro, and that'll cost you an average of $5 to $8 per day, for a total of around $32 a day for transportation. Sightseeing will be a mix of few paid attractions and mostly free walking tours, free sites, and a lot of strolling through historic centers and neighborhoods in cities and towns. Probably spend about $16.25 per day, and that will be a paid attraction each day, or maybe an expensive paid attraction every couple days. So your daily total as a backpacker is going to be $138. If you want to travel a bit more comfortably than a typical backpacker, you're looking at more like $4,012 for a 2-week trip. Your budget will include the following expenses: a private room in a hostel, or use bed and breakfasts or pensiones or guest houses, and will spend $66 a night on your rooms. You'll spend more time at casual restaurants and cafes and spend $50 per day on food. Along with your Eurail pass, you'll have a Metro pass in most cities. These Metro passes will be about $8 to $24 per day, so your transportation costs will be $36 per day. You're going to prioritize 1 to 2 paid attractions either every day or every few days, and you're offset those buy free walking tours and free days at some museums, and you're going to spend $32.50 per day on sightseeing. Your daily total in this tier is $185, and that will get you a very comfortable and thorough 2-week trip through much of Europe. For those of you who want to splurge from time to time, but still maintain a reasonable budget, you'll spend about $5,185 for a 2-week trip to Europe, and that budget will break down as follows. You're going to use more independent budget style hotels, and that'll be $92.50 per night, whether that is a single room or shared between yourself and a travel partner. You're going to eat more at local cafes and small restaurants, but have a splurge meal every couple days, maybe a few picnic lunches to offset these splurges. You can expect to spend $77.50 per day on food. You'll still have the Euro Pass, which will get you around Europe, but once you get to larger cities, you're going to use taxis and Ubers more often for convenience, and you'll spend $44 per day on transportation. For sightseeing, you're going to see mostly what you want. You'll have money to spend on 2 paid attractions per day, and if you want to see additional free things, you'll have that opportunity to do so. You'll spend $57 per day on sightseeing. So your total daily budget in this tier is $271. None of these budget tiers are right or wrong. They're just choices. Can you spend more than $271 a day in Europe? Absolutely. Could you get by on less than $138 a day? Probably. I have. What matters is knowing which tier you want to be in and plan accordingly so your expenses, experiences, and expectations all match. Be aware of where you're spending your money and spend it on the things that matter to you and what you prioritize before the trip. On my first trip, I didn't think in terms of these tiers. I didn't know I was traveling as a backpacker versus a minimalist splurger. However, looking back, that's exactly why my money lasts as long as I did, because I made decisions that fit that backpacker tier. I prioritized less expensive experiences and attractions because I just wanted to make sure my money lasted longer than my friends. With the same budget, but different priorities. So now that you know what a trip to Europe in 2026 will really cost you, the next big mistake first-time travelers make is packing too much. If you want to see how I pack for 10 days or 3 months, check out this video where I break down exactly how I pack for Europe and what I bring so you don't have to overpack, overspend, or overthink it. I'm Craig, thanks for watching, and I hope one day that I see you in Europe. Bye.